Hey everyone, time once again for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So it's Wednesday. Let's see what happened here in the shop today. So today, Rafa primarily worked on getting the seats for the red buggy ready for upholstery. And so quite a few things that he did here to do that. One is he went ahead and repainted the backs of the fiberglass buckets for the front seats. The backs of those are going to show the covers that we're going to have made are a lot like this in that they kind of wrap around the edge, and then they'll have like a drawstring that holds them on, but be removable essentially. So the fiberglass backs of the seats will actually show just like this. So they were not in too bad a shape, but he cleaned them up and painted them, and then he went and mounted them to their frames, so they're all bolted up and ready to go. Used carriage bolts and did it all nice and cleanly as you would expect. And so that was the front seats. They're both ready. And then see if I can move this. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, I'm back. So on the back seat, he needed to put mounting on the back and the base before it's upholstered, because what he did was he added these, I don't know what you even call these things, these like nut things that have little teeth on them. Put those in the wood and then also epoxied them in just to make sure that they stay in there, because once this is upholstered over, if these nut things come loose, say if the owner was to remove the seat, you don't want these things coming loose because this is all going to be covered with upholstery. So put those in and epoxied them in for good measure. And so there's two on the backrest that you can see there. And then on the base itself, I think there's three total. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then on the other side of the buggy, what he did was he basically took wing nuts and welded them to, I don't know, either a stud or a bolt or something with no head, and basically created wing bolts, I guess, so that, again, if the owner ever needs to take the back seat out, he can simply unscrew these wing nuts. So again, two here for the backrest, and then probably hard to see. Yeah, there's one about center there, and another couple to hold the base in. So yeah, once these are upholstered, they'll pretty much go in and be bolted on from the bottom with those wing bolts, for lack of a better word, whatever you would call those. And that's it. So they're in there nice and secure. And hopefully, I think our upholstery guy is pretty busy right now, so we're hoping he'll get to these maybe by mid next week. He was supposed to do them this week, but who knows? That's, yeah, probably not happening until next week, but not something that we're in a huge hurry for. But again, trying to keep this project moving. This is probably one of the next major things on this buggy, is to get the interior going. However, that having been said, another major thing that happened today is we got two 1385cc 40 horse long blocks in. So the one with the yellow tape on it is the one for the buggy, and the one with the blue tape is the one for the 63 ragtop black one that you see kind of hidden back there in the corner. So yeah, now that we have the long block for, again, the buggy and the 63 back there, those motors can start going together. For the one for the 63 Beetle, we have all the tin is back from powder coating. The exhaust, the actual muffler, I brought down to ceramic coating today, so we'll probably have that back next week. And yeah, the tin's all powder coated. All the sort of accessories that go on the motor have been rebuilt either by us or by someone else. So that one should go together pretty fast. This one, the 40 horse for the red buggy, we still need to sort out all the tins and stuff like that and get those powder coated. So probably go ahead and start in on that. And then this buggy's motor can go together, probably, more or less in parallel with getting the upholstery done. And then that car is going to be getting super close. We need to get some wheels and tires going for it here pretty soon. So yeah, that was pretty much Rafa's day. Really, it was just working on getting these the seats, both front and back, ready for our upholstery guy to do his thing. I think there might have been some other little minor things that he did, but pretty much, yeah, focused on getting the seats ready for upholstery. So that's that. So I mentioned the 240 horse motor, so that's exciting, and excited to get the 63 back there in the corner, feeling all neglected, get back on it, get its motor in, and get it back to the customer. So let's see what else happened today. So for me, for my part, I mostly worked on the blue buggy today and did a few things. One of which was I finally went and fastened down this conduit that we ran the wiring in. So remember, this is a later production Manx body, but off the original molds, and apparently the wire tube that runs up underneath there on the older ones, apparently they deleted that from their molding at some point. So this one we had to run the wire along the tunnel inside the car. Anyway, went ahead and drilled and tapped some holes and bolted that conduit down, so nice and clean there. And then up front, and this is where a flashlight would have been handy, but I didn't remember to take one with me. But I went ahead and mounted his horn up there, and then the wiring is connected to the horn. You can see right there with the little waterproof boots, and then the brake light switch there. This ground, which I still need to connect, is going to be the ground that supplies ground to the instrument cluster. And then this wire here, he's got like a later style horn on it where this wire actually goes to the steering column tube. So that'll connect about here somewhere when the steering column tube's coming through there. So I did those things on the car itself. And then let's walk over to the workbench here. So also related to steering, I took his, he actually had a really ugly steering column tube. It had a big dent in it, and it was in really, really bad shape, really beat up looking. And, actually it was like very pitted, like it had, I don't know, sat in water for a long time. It must have not been on a car or something. I don't know how a steering column tube would really sit in water unless the car was submerged in a swamp. But anyway, his steering column tube was super ugly, and about almost a foot of the steering column actually shows on the buggies, because the dash is way up here, and then this tube just kind of keeps going, and then finally you got the steering wheel and everything back here. So huge section of this pitted ugly area on his original one would have shown. So luckily Octavio had a very clean original one, which I bought from him, and then cleaned it up, sanded it, and painted it. So it's ready to go in now. Here's his actual steering shaft. It's in pretty nice shape, so cleaned it up, also painted it, got it all ready here. And then the other thing was his his turn signal stock here, which I had already tested and found out it worked. And this is, again, a later style. So this switch on the turn signal stock right here, this is for switching between high and low beams. So pretty much what I did was the wires were only about that long. They needed to be, longer than about this to go up. Again, I mentioned how much of the steering column sticks out. So about this much of this wiring is going to be exposed, and then the rest of it kind of disappears up underneath the dash. So I left everything super long, but what I did was I extended all the wires so that when we go to wire this thing, we've got plenty of wire here to run and connect up under the dash. And where I could, I tried to use correct colors. So the black with white stripe and black with green stripe are for the front two turn signals. I didn't have a long enough piece of wire for the turn signal relay, which on these is black with both a green and a white stripe. I didn't have any pieces nearly long enough, so I just went with solid black for that one. And what else we got here? This is ground for the turn signal, for the high beam switch, and then this goes to terminal, I think it's terminal S on the high-low beam relay. So yep, got those all extended. So this is also ready to go in now. So again, just trying to get all the wiring done as possible so that when the dash finally goes in the car, then it's pretty much just a matter of trimming things to length and basically connecting things. So I think we're about at that point right now, actually. So next, the steering shaft will go in, and I'll wrap up any wiring up underneath the what would be the gas tank when the gas tank goes in. So want to finish everything kind of under here, and then including bolting the steering shaft up. And then pretty much from there, the next major thing would be to put the gas tank in. So that'll probably be happening. I'll probably get around to that next week. Anyway, I think that is what happened around here today, guys. Jacob was not in today, so no more progress on his motor that he's tearing down here, or the freshly built one that you see here. So, but he'll be in tomorrow, so don't worry. I'll get an update on what Jacob's doing tomorrow. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.